Hello everyone. So I am Writam Changkakoti, a musician, music producer and keyboard instructor. But along with being a musician, I carry another identity. I am visually impaired. I was born blind. From the very beginning, sound and touch were how I experienced the world. While others understood the world through sight, I understood it through touch and sound. Take an apple, for example. You might understand it by its appearance, but I can figure it out by its shape and sound. I can hear the apple's crunch. Can you hear it? Yes. So if you eat an apple in front of me without telling me, I'll probably know what it is. You can't hide from me. I can see through sound. As a child, my first instrument was the tabla. It was all about touch and sound. Something I could feel with my hands. My teacher guided my fingers across the drumheads until rhythm became part of me. The rhythm didn't come only from the tabla. I started noticing rhythms everywhere. The clinking of utensils in the kitchen, water dripping from taps, even in the sound of a fan. Everything had a rhythm, and I started imitating them. Sound became my music. Sound became the way I understood the world. During that time, the sound of another instrument fascinated me, the keyboard. My father had one, and I was completely mesmerized by the sounds it made. I would sit for hours listening to the wind, rain, strings, all the sounds that lit up my imagination. But when I finally began learning the keyboard formally, one thing became clear. This instrument was designed for sight. Buttons, menus, screens, everything assumed the musician could see. And this isn't unique to one instrument. A 2019 review of 83 accessible digital musical instruments found that most modern music tools rely heavily on vision, and only 14.5% include haptic feedback. Because of this, visually impaired musicians like me have to develop completely different ways of learning and navigating musical instruments. Buttons are mapped mentally. Distances are measured through touch. Muscle memory becomes the substitute for sight. Research from the Oxford Handbook of Community Music shows that visually impaired performers often develop intricate internal maps of the instruments because design rarely considers the needs. And this adaptation is not just physical, it's psychological. So when people ask, how do visually impaired musicians play without seeing? The answer is simple. Music has never been visual for them. So now you know, right? So, just when I thought I had cracked the code with tactile strategies of mental maps and muscle memory, stepping into the digital world was a bigger challenge. The early workstation keyboards were still tactile enough to navigate by touch. The digital audio workstations shifted music making from keys and knobs to icons, menus, and color-coded regions. DAWs are built almost entirely for the eye. Screen readers like NVDA and JAWS helped, but only partially. A 2022 HCI study found that most commercial DAWs are not completely compatible with screen readers, making advanced editing nearly impossible without sighted assistance. Another study from Birmingham City University showed that visually impaired musicians often face cognitive overload or task paralysis because essential controls don't respond to screen reader cues. This is not a small problem. According to the World Health Organization, about 39 million people are blind and more than 284 million have low vision. Many of them are musicians and share these challenges. And the impact goes far beyond technical difficulty. Research shows that when visually impaired people cannot access creative tools, it affects mental well-being, independence, and social participation. But when technology becomes accessible, when speech, touch, and design work together, it reduces anxiety, builds confidence, and restores autonomy. We need a technology that speaks, responds, and treats accessibility as design, not charity. And technology did just that. It came to our rescue with spoken feedback and accessible design, finally making music tools usable for us. Apple had been building VoiceOver into Mac OS since 2005. Logic Pro 10 was released in 2013, and over the next few years, Apple steadily expanded its accessibility, not through add-ons, but built directly into the software. By around 2016-17, Logic Pro 10 became one of the first professional DAWs that visually impaired musicians could operate independently using VoiceOver. Research from 2024 shows that built-in accessibility, not plugins, not external scripts, gives visually impaired musicians the highest level of independence. So, when I finally installed Logic Pro 10 on an iMac, something happened that I had never experienced before. I could create without help. No sighted assistance, no waiting, just music directly from imagination to sound. Let me show you what that feels like. Let's watch, or rather listen to this short clip.
Right now, I'm using Logic Pro 11, and the screen reader is telling me exactly where I am.
A new track. 1. Content selected. No.
I can add a track,
Library.
I can select an instrument,
Bass. Drum kit, electric guitar, keyboard, mallet, orchestra, percussive, piano. Ballad. Track.
and now I can record it, all without ever seeing it.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Alright. So this isn't magic. It's design. Design that includes us. Software gave me access. However, there are hardware challenges we face. To truly create, we also need instruments that talk back. This is where complete control keyboards from Native Instruments come in. These keyboards were revolutionary for visually impaired musicians. The multimodal design, touch plus speech, is exactly what accessibility researchers advocate. It gives us real-time awareness, precision, and independence. Let me show you what that sounds like.
Browser file types instruments. Product shift accent melancholic stereo. Zoom 3 shift. Type shift or sync disk. Sub character results ending amnesia. Filter cutoff. 13%. Cutoff. 44%. 51%. 54, 50, so. 12%. 68%.
What you just heard isn't a feature, it's freedom. And that experience only happens when two things come together: software that speaks and hardware that responds. When accessible software and adaptive hardware work together, musicians are empowered, and we are already seeing the impact. Today, visually impaired musicians are creating film scores, indie albums, electronic musics, all professionally and independently. Pro Tools and Logic Pro 10 were pioneers, integrating accessibility features early and showing the industry that inclusive design was possible. Writam followed at a later stage, building on those examples. Ableton Live is more recent, gradually working to improve screen reader compatibility for visually impaired musicians. The community of accessible music creators is growing, and with every update, more musicians can participate fully. As hopeful as this progress is, the story doesn't finish yet. Many modern keyboards, plugins, and synthesizers rely on tiny screens and touch interfaces completely unusable for visually impaired musicians. Researchers now call this visual bias in music technology, and unless design changes, access will disappear. Accessibility isn't a feature, it's the difference between being part of the music or standing outside it. Yet, I'm deeply hopeful. Just a few years ago, what I'm doing today felt impossible. Not just for me, but for visually impaired musicians everywhere. Imagine a future where tools adapt automatically, screens are no longer barriers, sound, touch, and voice enhance creativity. That future is closer than we think. For me, technology didn't give me sight, but it gave me something bigger. It gave me possibility, it gave me independence, it gave me a voice. Music taught me that you don't need eyes to see beauty. You just need the courage to listen. And if there's one thing I want to leave you with today, it's this. When technology is made accessible, it doesn't just improve tools, it transforms lives. Thank you.